Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. We're going to look at an interesting model today. This is the Vise from VDK, and Vlad has always had a unique design aesthetic. His most popular model, the War Admiral, a large cleaver style blade. Cleavers are his jam. And with this model, what he wanted to do was take kind of that large cleaver-esque style and get it into a smaller, thinner handle that's more comfortable. So that was kind of the design premise behind this one. And I've always liked the fact that Vlad, he'll think of an idea and then he will just run with it and make exactly what he wants. So while this isn't perhaps a design that fits all people or an all-inclusive type of design, his stuff always seems to sell out, and he has almost a cult-like following, based off like his War Admiral and some of his other models that are very, very unique. So anyways, that is the Vise. We're going to look at it. We have to go through the specs in detail on this one because this is up for pre-order, and the specs are kind of important in terms of whether you may or may not want to carry this one. So it should be in production in like 2 to 3 months from the time, 2 months he says, from the time that this video goes up, but again, patience with pre-orders and production schedules is always advised. And there are quite a few different options as far as the handle materials. Obviously this is a carbon fiber inlay. There's going to be like regular carbon fiber, there's shredded blue, shredded red, and then the blade finishes, you have this kind of heavy stonewash. And then for a pretty hefty upcharge, the factory he's working with, and we'll have to talk about this, because Vlad, he has brought manufacturers to the U.S. market that are now very, very well known, like We Knives. So this is coming from a new manufacturer that doesn't even have a name yet, and he hasn't shared with me any details about it. But he's saying that the quality of the work is up there with Riot. The quality on this build is really, really good, but being able to do something once is one thing. Being able to do it over 100 pieces is something completely different. So for me, it's too early to make that call as to whether or not the overall quality across the entire production run is as good as Riot. So anyways, let's jump into the specs here. Don't want to ramble on too much, but it probably ships with something like this. Again, this is not quite a prototype, but kind of like a first trial production run. Though the other blade finish is going to be a mirror stone washed blade for a fairly hefty upcharge. So prices for the pre-orders should range from like $270 for this, going up to like $350 once you're at a pre-order and you're just going to buy it normally. And then the one with the mirror polished blade, that thing is going to be $500 in pre-order and like $550 on the norm. It's a very time-intensive process to get the mirror stonewash, but you can see those pictures and all the options on his Instagram, and I'm sure they'll be up on his website soon. All right, so spec-wise, actually, let's show you guys what it looks like closed here, because this is going to be one of the major specs. It's a very, very, very wide blade and kind of a small handle. It's kind of like a big girl wearing a mini skirt. I don't know if I feel comfortable with it, but at the same time, I don't dislike it. So, yeah. All right, spec-wise, M390 blade steel here. Blade length is 4.2 inches. It is quite large. I've got the 0452 here next to it for kind of a blade length comparison. As you can see, that's a big freaking blade. So not only is it long, but it's also super wide. So the width of I measured it in the closed position. The width of the handle here in the closed position is 1.7 inches. So pretty wide there. You're going to take up a lot of pocket real estate. Handle length is 4.2. Overall, we've got 8.2. The blade stock is coming in at 0.16 inches or 160 thousandths. So a little bit thicker than like a para 2. But the thickness behind the edge is coming in at 0.022 inches, and again the para 2 is like 0.025. So the hollow grind here on the, I guess that would be the primary bevel, does take it down quite a bit to quite a thin edge here. So the bevel is pretty consistent throughout. The secondary bevel is pretty consistent throughout. So again, on this pre-production run, the factory seems to have done a good job, but time will tell once the entire production run is out and about and you guys are kind of reporting on how it's going. It does weigh in at 4.64 ounces, which for this size of a knife is fairly lightweight, and surprisingly enough, it is fairly well balanced too. Here's the point of balance right at kind of this first finger choil. So again, you know, you wouldn't expect that at first. I'll just leave it at that. All right, so here's the blade. Again, stonewash. You got this huge harpoon up front. That again, that's kind of Vlad's jam. So let's take a look at the handle here. You know, as far as the fit and the finish go, again, it's pretty good. The carbon fiber is quite nice. There are a few very small voids on this side. You know, not a major deal. There's no structural issues there, but the inlay work, as you guys can see, is really nice. Fits in the handle perfectly. Every edge has been chamfered. Again, hopefully you guys are seeing that. There are no sharp edges anywhere here on the handle. The blade is certainly well kind of tucked into the handle, and the tip is, you know, well protected as well. Centering is spot on. This knife also, although you can't see it, does have a stainless steel lock insert, which is a nice touch. Flipper tab, as long as you're getting in front of it, you don't misfire, but if you're going to try to like hit it like a light switch, it's definitely not going to work. You've got to get in front of the flipper tab and you'll have no problem. There is, you know, plenty of texturing, well, enough texturing on the front so you're not going to have a problem. So, and obviously that big long heavy blade closes without any issues. So pocket clip works very well. Good amount of spring, goes in jeans, it's just fine. Ergonomically, it fits in the hand. Again, it's a long slender handle and it is slightly contoured and it is well chamfered, so it's comfortable in the hand. Again, I'm wearing an XL glove right here and I've got plenty of space, you know, so if you have even larger hands, you'll still find real estate at the back. And then this, you know, this massive harpoon creates a really nice thumb rest, kind of an upsweep here, so it definitely inspires confidence in the grip. I have no idea what you're going to be doing with your knives, but I think this will be just fine. So, there we go. Backspace or lockup. It's about 40-50% right where I like it. Nice and solid, no play. So, but again, we're still looking at a pre-production run here. So, if Vlad is this confident in this manufacturer, then I would stand behind him in that regard. You know, as I mentioned briefly earlier, as far as I recall, Vlad was the guy who brought Wii manufacturing kind of to the US as a whole. He was the first guy that I knew working with them as an OEM. And since then, everyone and their mom is working with Wii knives. They're producing knives for everyone. But Vlad was the first guy I knew of who used them. He may have been the first in the US, at least within our segment of knife nerdism or, you know, the knife community that I'm aware of. And now with their lead times at Wii knives being so long, he has found this new manufacturer. He says their turnaround time is significantly better and their quality is up there with Riot. So again, those are his words. We'll see what happens. What else do I want to talk about with this one? You know, going at the handle here, we do have some slight height differences in the screws. This one's a bit more recessed. This one sits a bit more proud. Will that be the same in final production? Do you even care? Don't know. That's up to you guys. One other kind of oddity here. You guys can see the, hopefully you can see it. You can see the detent hole right here. And I'm not sure if you can see it, the detent ball path actually goes over the plunge line of the blade. And so as you're opening and closing it, right here, it's actually kind of jumping down the path of the plunge line a little bit. It's not super distracting. It's not a big deal because the blade is so large and heavy. But at first I thought maybe I had some grit in the bearing path, and then I realized no, it's actually just the detent ball going across the plunge line. So FYI, that is kind of an oddity with this knife, trying to fit everything in kind of this slimmer handle, no doubt. Again, not super noticeable. I don't think it's a make or break by any means, but you get kind of this additional audible click as it opens and closes, and you can feel a slight bump in the hand as it does that. So yeah. All right, anything else in terms of specs that I need to touch on? Handle thickness here at 0.52, so you know, again, right in a good spot. I liked it about 1/2 inch in terms of thickness. I guess that's it. So yeah, it's you know, a massive blade into a slimmer handle. Vlad being Vlad, new manufacturer. Fit and finish is good on this one. Quite a few different options for the inlays, or even if you want to go super expensive and get like a polished stonewash blade, which admittedly I really like it. I have that on my custom Koenig Arius, and it's one of my favorite blade finishes. There is just, you know, quite a large upcharge for a production knife for that option. But dude, if this knife speaks to you and you really like it, and you've never had a polished stonewash blade, I mean, it's money. I really like that finish. Only a few custom makers do it, and I love it. It's my favorite. So anyways, we'll leave it there. Comments or questions, I'm just going to direct you to Vlad. It's his project. He's in charge. I think there is going to be like a discount code that I'm going to put in the description box below. I don't even know the details on that, but check the description box below. If there is a discount code, rock on. If not, then, you know, just there'll be a link to his website. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. We will cut it off there. As always, more videos to come. See ya.